On today's tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to cut and sew this gown you are seeing on this video. If you are new to my channel, you're welcome. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on your notification bell so that whenever I post a new video, you'll be notified. And if you're an existing subscriber, welcome once again. So let's go to the cutting table. I've gone ahead and folded my fabric. I have the front and back together here. The back part is underneath the front part, and for the back I have my 2 inches zipper allowance. I will first of all rule out my starting point line, which is my shoulder line. From the shoulder line, I will come down by 9 inches for my chest line. I will mark 17.5 inches for my waistline, 26 inches for my hip line, 35 inches for my knee line, and the full length of the gown. I will go ahead and rule out my lines. I will place half of my shoulder on my chest line and also on the starting point line. I will connect the line. On the chest line, I will mark quarter of my bust circumference. I will add half inch for ease and 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. I will repeat the same thing on the waistline, half inch for ease and 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. I will connect it. On the hip line, I will repeat the same thing. If you want it to be more free, you can add 1 inch, but don't add more than 1 inch. To mark my knee measurement, I will measure what I have on my hip. I will minus 1 inch. Please don't minus more than 1 inch. So whatever I have left on the hip, I will mark it on my knee. I will still add half inch for ease and 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. I'll connect it like so. I will measure what I have on the knee line and I will take it down to the hem line. Just connect it straight down the way you see me doing. The next thing I will mark is my neck width. I'll mark 3.5 inches for the front and back neck width, and for the front neck depth I use 4.5 inches. Back neck depth I use 1.5 inches, and I'll curve my neckline. I will come down by 1 inch for front shoulder slant. For the back, I will come up by half inch and I will connect it. The back shoulder is supposed to be higher than the front. So I will divide my chest line by 2. On the middle point, I came in by half inch and I will curve my front armhole. I will add half inch for front allowance, and for the back, I'll also add half inch. I will first of all cut the back armhole before cutting out the front part. For the back part, I will be taking out my zipper bulge. So on the waistline, I came in by 0.75. I will slant it like so. I'm doing this so that if I fit my zipper, it will relax very well. It won't be bulging out. So after slanting it to the neckline, I will slant the hip part like so, and I will roll it straight down. I'll be cutting out the back neckline first, back shoulder slant and back armhole. After cutting out the back part, I will remove it and I will trim off the front neckline, front shoulder. For the front armhole, I will remove the allowance I added on the back part and I will go ahead and trim it out. I have this gently nails that I'll be using to design the front and back parts. So I've gone ahead to cut out my lining also. I'll cut my lining for the front and back, and for the front part I make sure I iron it so that the center line will show. Fold it into 2 and give it a good press so that you can have that line on the center part. After ironing it, you now determine the right and the left side. So for me, I will be placing the net on the left side and I can see my line on the center part. As we proceed, you understand the reason why I say you should iron it down so that the center line will show. So I will place my net like so. After placing it, I can still see the center line. This is my center line. I can see it through the net. So what I will do is to come out by 0.75 from the line, 0.75 or 1 inch. I will mark the 0.75 straight down. So you won't be cutting exactly on the center line. That's why I iron it so that I will know where the center line is. After marking it, I went ahead to trim everything out. After that, I will remove it. I will fold my fabric into two. I want to cut out the yoke. For my yoke, I will measure from the shoulder line to 15 inches. After that, I'll go ahead and cut it out the way you see me doing. This is the 15 inches I measured down. So from then I will trim it out. The next thing is to shape it. So on the armhole area, I will come down by 4.5 inches from the shoulder. I will slant it to the 15 inches the way you see me doing. So I will place my yoke on my main fabric now so that you can see what we have. Can you see that? I will also place this one like so. After placing it, I will now cut it out from here. Make sure you leave half inch that will overlap the yoke. I'm not cutting exactly on the yoke. I left half inch that will overlap it. So I will pin it down. Just pin it down the way you see me doing so that it doesn't shift. The next thing I will do now is to measure down where I want my slit to start. So I mark 37 inches. That's where I want my slit to start. On that 37 inches, I will make a cut. I want to trim out the 0.75 I added. Trim it out. So after trimming it out, you have something like this. Can you see? You will soon understand why I added this 0.75 here. This is the velvet bias that I'll be using to cover the yoke. It's 1 inch here. I will be placing it like so. So before then, I will first of all work on my slit. So I will place my lining and the main fabric together. Place it together. Please note that you can use any other method to sew the front slit. I'm using this method because I found it more easier and straightforward. I made this exact dress for my client and I used the method of slashing the center front open all through, and I used the method that we normally use to sew the back slit to sew it. And to be honest, I prefer this method because it's much easier and I like the finished look. So after arranging the lining and the main fabric, I will fold in the folding allowance I added so that the lining and the main fabric will be equal. I reduced my lining by 1.5 inches. After that, I will now slash it open. I'm cutting the main fabric and lining together. I will stop at half inch above my slit opening. I want my slit opening to start at that 37 inches I measured down. So that's why I left half inch that I'm using to sew it. At this point, you can now use your hemming gum or fabric gum to secure the net. So I will go ahead and do that off camera. After that, I'll come back and show you the next thing to do. The next thing is to place my velvet bias. I will first of all place on the yoke side and I will sew it on the both side. I will do the same thing on this side. After that, I will now cover the center. Just watch what I'm doing. So the essence of extending that 0.75 for the chantilly is for the velvet bias to cover it very well. If you didn't add it, it will not cover it, the net will be showing. So if you get to your slit point, you will shift your hand like 0.5. Can you see what I'm doing? 0.5. So you leave that 0.5 that you'll be using to sew the slit. So I'll be showing you how to place it very well before you can stitch it down. This is what I did before stitching on the velvet bias. You place this side, you cut it off, you will now use this one to overlap it. If you place it, you make sure you use your pin to secure it first. Pin it down on the center before you start sewing. After that, I will sew on the both side like so. I'll go and sew it off camera. I'll come back and show you the next thing to do. I've sewn the yoke part. Can you see that? So for the center front, this is how you will do it. Place it like so. As you place it, you use your pin to hold it down. Make sure you pin it down before sewing so that it won't shift. If you get to your slit opening, you shift it. As I shifted it, can you see that it's still covering the net? Had even I didn't add 0.75, it will not cover it. So that's the essence of adding this 0.75. So that once you shift it, the net will not be showing. That's the trick there. So I left ½ inch here. This ½ inch is what I'll be using to sew it down. Make sure you leave ½ inch up to the down part. So I'll go and sew it down on the both side of the velvet bias, and I'll come back and show you the next thing to do. I'm done sewing it. Can you see what I have? So the next thing is to turn it with lining. I will place it like so. You can decide not to slash your lining open if you want, but this is how I did mine. I'll pin the down part like so. After that, I'll go and sew it with ½ inch. After sewing it, I'll fold my hemming allowance, fold it in, and now sew it. I'll be showing you how to sew the slit very well to maintain the V point. It won't be looking curved. So this is how I would sew it. You will turn it to the Ankara side where you can see the first stitch you made on the bias tape, and you make sure you stitch after the first stitch like ¼ inch. Don't make it up to ½ inch that you left for sewing allowance. So I'm using my pencil to mark out the V point. Mark it out so that it won't look curved. You can use your pen, don't use chalk, use pen to mark or pencil. After sewing the slit open, I will also sew the neckline. I'm done sewing it, so I will make a notch on the slit point. I will as well notch the neckline. After that, I will turn it to the right side. After turning it, I will give it a good ironing. Iron the slit part very well. If you find my tutorial helpful, make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. I have a lot of tutorial on my phone, just that I've not had time to edit the videos. I've been very busy. After ironing it, I will stitch down the side, stitch it down, and I'll go to my weaving machine and interlock it. So after that, I'll work on the back part. This is my back part. I've also placed my net on it. Can you see that? So I will turn it with my lining. Turn the zipper allowance side and the neckline. You now weave the side. This is what I have for the front, and this is my back. I will sew it, and I'll go ahead and attach my pocket and my sleeve. My gown is ready. If you find this video interesting, make sure you like the video. Drop your question on the comments box.